In this video, we'll be going over some of the trigonometric identities you'll need before you start solving equations. Now, before we begin, let's go over some of the terminology. When I say single angle, I'm referring to something like this, sine theta. Now, it can be sine, cos, or tan, but I'm referring to a single angle. And when I say double angle, I'm going to be meaning something like this, sine 2 thetas. It can be sine, cos, or tan again. And besides these two, I'll be mentioning sine square theta. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this, sine square theta is the same as sine theta squared. And remember that it's not the sine of theta squared. It's not this, it's either this or this. Keeping that in mind, let's move on to our first identity. Okay, so firstly, we have something called the Pythagorean identity of trigonometry. So, as we remember, we know that the trig or the Pythagorean theorem looks something like this. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, the trig version of this is something like this. Cos square theta plus sine square theta equals 1. Now, the way we're going to use this identity to solve our equations is just to find what cos and sine are. So, for example, they'll give you, say, sine theta equals 3 by 4. So, you'll have to plug in 3 by 4 into theta, square it, and find cos square theta. And for that, you'll have to subtract sine square theta from both sides. Then you'll get cos square theta equals 1 minus sine square theta. And you can do the same for cos square theta as well. So that's the first one. Secondly, now you need to know what to do when you have to convert a single angle into a double angle. Now for that, we have two identities. Now say you want to convert two single angles into a double angle. Say you want to convert cos theta and sine theta into sine 2 theta. Now for that, you're going to use this. You're going to have sine 2 theta equals 2 sine theta cos theta. Now you can only do this when you have sine theta and cos theta, and now you can convert it into sine 2 theta. Now say conversely, you want to find cos 2 theta when you have sine theta and cos theta. Now to do that, you're going to use this identity. Now cos 2 theta is going to be equal to cos square theta minus sine square theta. And that's it. But remember, when you're solving equations, you should always convert double angles into single angles and never single angles into double angles. That's just going to overcomplicate everything. Okay, so the last two identities are going to help us find cos 2 theta specifically using either cos theta or sine theta. Now to find cos 2 theta using cos theta, we're going to use this identity. So cos 2 theta equals 2 cos square theta minus 1. Remember, cos square theta does not equal to cos of theta squared. Remember that. Now say, for example, you want to find cos 2 theta using just sine theta. Well, thanks to the next identity, you can do that as well. But that's going to look like this. Sorry. Cos 2 theta equals 1 minus 2 sine square theta. And that's it for all your identities. These are basically all the things you're going to be using to solve your trigonometric equations, and we'll go over those in the next video. Until then, practice all of these, get familiar with them, and I'll see you in the next one.